Welcome to Moto-Everything. Today, we're installing a music system. So on today's video, we have a Bluetooth setup for the Canam Ryker 900. Now, this is a custom work or a custom job. So if you do not have any experience doing custom work, I would suggest you guys get professional help. But because I'm a professional, in air quotes, I will be showing you what it takes to get this done. Now we have these speakers. These are Pod Marine speakers. They're waterproof. They are 900 watts. You can kind of see it there. The brand is PyleUSA, and it's a speaker brand. They come with the harness, and on the harness you have all your inputs. You have even an aux cable, but we're not going to use none of these. These are RCA cables. We're literally just using the Bluetooth. And then we have the speaker wire for the other side, because on the other side you have your speaker outputs where you would input the speaker here. Have spacers, we have wire cutters, but on the actual Ryker we have to measure to get these sitting out right. So on the Ryker, what I want to do right here is pretty much kind of rest them on this area right here. They'll sit flush. Let me show you here how flush they'll be sitting. They'll pretty much be this flush. We have two screws. Because these are marines, it comes with a mount that goes on here, and you can put it on a tube that's about 2 inches in thickness, or 1.5 inches. That's the smallest you can do. But we're going to use the mount as an actual placeholder so we can drill the holes into the fender. So that way we can screw them from the inside with some metal plates. That way we have a stable foundation. But in this case, we're going to drill holes into the fender, so we need to mark that. These are the mounts that go onto the speaker. So if you were to put it on a tube, but we're going to use this to actually draw out the holes. Some tape and something to mark the hole. We're going to go base off of this bottom trim line or body line. If you see it here, this body line. So on the other side, I would know exactly where to put it at as well. And then we're gonna go ahead and mark it right there on that tape, and then we'll have our spots to drill the holes. Okay, so we actually had to take the marking pen out of the case, but we were able to mark the holes, as you can see, one right here and the other in the background. I'm gonna zoom in here so you can kind of see. There you go. We got one hole here, one hole. That's one way of doing it. What you want to do is make sure your holes are aligned. Another way of doing it, let me show you guys here a trick. Let me back it up for you real quick. This is another trick. You can actually take the tape prior to putting it on the body, and you can just grab as much as you need, and you just spread it across the back side. It's not the most accurate, but it's going to be the one that can fit you the best. So it's the most fitting. So you can grab it here, put a piece of tape, actually mark the hole right here. You can see we have one hole there, and then you would have to keep it stretched, because remember, this is going to be stretched, and kind of eyeball that second hole. There you go. And now you've marked both holes, and as you can see, the holes, they line up. Hole 1 and hole 2. So I measured both sides of these speaker tapes, if you want to call them. So this side measured at about 3 and close to 3/4, and then the front one measured about 3/4 from this edge, this line here. That's another way you want to make sure they're aligned properly, and it's by measuring them. So some of the hardware we're going to use to create kind of that support that we need are these spacers. Now these spacers are plastic spacers. They're going to be for the speaker bottom, because one side is flush but the other side is not flush. So this will create both sides flush on the plastic or fender, and then these are going to be in the backings. So this is going to create that support for the back side, so that way inside the fender it's just not a piece of screw, is actually something supporting it. This is actually from a TV stand. That's literally what it is. And we're engineers over here, so these are from TV stands, but you can see how thick this is. It's not going to bend, so that's why I chose these. As well as the wire, we're going to use the 16 gauge to kind of extend the 12 volt and the ground, because those are not long enough. As well as the remote, we have a 14 gauge, I believe. is a smaller wire for the remote and the accessories. So we're going to do a lot of wire stitching in a way. So to remove the fender on this 2023 Canam Ryker Rally 900, you're going to need a plastic trim tool. You can find this on Amazon, and you can actually just pretty much purchase anywhere. There's about 4 screws, 4 of the clips we're going to take off, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 2 more in the rear. So for the rear, all you have to do is slide your gas tank cap here, or cover, and there's going to be 2 right here, 2 more, and this one's going to actually pop this top piece. Now to remove the fender, all we have to do is pop this corner. It's actually just a push-on clip. Pop that corner, slide it forward, and the fender comes right out. This is the part of the video where it's the point of no return. You've marked your holes and you're ready to drill. Now, you're not going to go in with the drill hardcore with the biggest bit you have. What you want to do is go small. So we're going to go ahead and drill here. We're going to make sure we center that properly. And we start drilling in. Remember, you go slow. You can see the plastic coming out. And we have 2 perfectly clean holes right there. Now we can check, see if that screw fits. Now check it out. That is perfect. Would you like a fresca? Okay, so let me show you exactly how they're going on. You can see there we have the spacers. We have the metal plate in the back that's going to act as a support. And we're going to put this next plate diagonal like this, and we're going to run that other screw so we can catch it here in the rear. Now for the front, I did need to use a longer screw, which I had on hand, but it's literally the same machine screw. You can find it at any hardware. It's the same machine screw, but just a little bit longer. This is what it looks like. Now this wire harness, we're going to have to figure something out to run it through the bottom and grab a sheath. I have some wire sheath, and then we're going to have to use some sheathing here, wrap it around. I really don't need these 2 wires, but I wouldn't want to cut them off. So we're just going to wrap them, sheath them up, and that should be good. Okay, so this is an added step because where we have to go is right here, so far away. We're going to have to extend 4 wires. Now I have 16 gauge wire here, and this you can find it at your local hardware as long as it's 12 volt or I believe it's like 20 amps rated. You can run this wire and it can extend each and every wire to its respective spot. Now what we do have is this kit here. You can find this at Walmart. It's a terminal connector and assortment. Comes with a lot of different terminal assortments. And you might need yourself one of these crimpers. These crimpers actually help to connect these extensions. So check it out. We have this wire here, and we have the extensions here, which we're going to plug. Well, we need 4. I only took out 3. You plug one side in, plug the other, and then with the crimpers, you would crimp that edge right there, and each wire would be properly connected. Crimp this end here. That way it crimps the wire a little bit harder at the top. There we go. Little blooper. Now it's tight like a tiger. And we're going to do the same thing with the other one, just in case. Okay, so I close everything up. I'm going to show you exactly what I did. Now, this can differ from your motorcycle, car. It's all the same applications. It doesn't matter if it's on a motorcycle, on a car, on a buggy, on a slingshot. it really does not matter. What it boils down to is you knowing where to connect everything. So as you see, I did extend the wires. You can see the harness here. I did unplug it because I'm going to button it up. It's right here. But here on the main fuse box, let me show you here, there's a couple of things to note here. You have different type of setting and amperages. You have an accessory port here that's a 7 amp, and you have a main fuse for all your cluster and your electronics. It's a 10 amp fuse. Now what I did is I connected my accessory, which is the amp, to my main 10 amp fuse. That way I got a lot of juice to the system. And then my regular remote, I connected it to the USB that's inside. So whenever the USB powers on with the vehicle, the speakers will turn on. If the USB does not turn on, they won't pull any power from the battery because it is remotely connected. So I put it all in here, button it up, and I close the lid. Once I take this lid off, it might pop out the wires because it's like so thin and crunched down, but everything's connected nicely. I did connect my my positive, but I did connect my negative first because you don't want anything arcing. So I connected it. I did have to replace the bolt because I have light underglow and now I have music. So soon we'll have to get a hub here where we can connect several things if we decide to connect more things. But for now, this will do. And then lastly, I did connect my power to make sure everything was running. Maybe one step fancy, if you want to call it. This is what they call a ferrule kit. I believe that's the actual term. And what these are pretty much terminal connectors for like your speakers. For example, here on these speakers that we have a terminal on one end, and we do not want to have a bare wire just sticking there because with vibration it can pop out, and that's where this kit comes into play. I'm going to show you how to connect these and why would you use these instead of just bare wire. You'd grab the blue kit and you'd pretty much push in, and that would create a better connection instead of these points here biting into your wire. And as you can see there, this takes a minute to come off. So we're going to go ahead and do these. We'll just stuff in the wire as far as we can. There you go, kind of like there. I don't think you can see it. There we go, it focused. And now we just crimp it away. We'll crimp it higher this time. We're crimping on the blue one. There we go. And now we can connect the positive to the positive, negative to the negative. We have this wire sheath or wire sleeve, and we're just going to wrap this wire around as well. That way it's nice and professional. We don't have exposed wires. Everything looks nice and clean, and we've done our job to the T. We have non-copyrighted music here. We're going to raise the volume all the way up, and here we go. There we have it. You guys can see here, everything powers on nicely. The light bar powers on. Now the Bluetooth turned on, you can see there. We have the hood, latches on real smooth, real nice. Wire harness through the side, through the inside of the engine. On one side, wire harness on the other side. And it looks phenomenal. It looks like it's part of the the actual motorcycle. So you can see the way I designed it was I wanted it to be not hanging from the fairings, but just slightly resting on this plastic part here. Now I'm going to show you right here. I did have to put down some of the pads that come with the actual speaker kit. And I did put some pads down because I didn't want this plastic messing up this plastic. So these pads have like double-sided tape, and they're real shock absorbent pads. And it sounds amazing. It's not too loud, too obnoxious. It's just slightly loud enough for you to hear. And actually, I drove this around 40 to 50 miles an hour with no ear protection, no helmet, just glasses, and the music sounds amazing. But like I said, this is the kit. Is the PyleUSA kit, 900-watt speaker system. Is Bluetooth. The accessory port, I'm pretty sure you can connect an amp to it. It does have RCA wires and aux wires on the side, which I did not install because I don't have an amp on here. And you just power on the motorcycle. Once it powers on, the Bluetooth turns on, and that is it. So make sure you guys are subscribed. You guys give a like to this video if you enjoyed watching me kind of use my brain for once on setting this up and installing it. And like I said, if you have your own, you can choose where to install it. I just chose to put it on the fairing. Once again, these fairings are fairly cheap. They're like $74 for the pair. And if you don't want to have holes on your fairings and you want to replace them, just buy a new set and you're good to go. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. This was Moto-Everything for the Canam Ryker 900 Rally Edition, baby.